LA This Week.
I'm Rasha Goel. Up next, some simple reminders on train safety.
I'm Anna Marcos. Call it the 3 R's on steroids. The Launchpad summer program is teaching these high school senior girls new concepts in science, technology, math, engineering, and robots. That's coming up.
Your Los Angeles Rams issues an academic challenge to Eagle Rock High School and other neighboring campuses. I'm Gil Reyes with more on how the team plans to score a touchdown in the classroom.
Hello and welcome to LA This Week. Thanks for joining us. I'm Yana Kay. Well, the planned cancellation of DACA forces LA City leaders into a war of words with President Trump. The LA City Council is now taking steps to declare LA a city of sanctuary. But what exactly does the term mean? Gil Reyes reports on how the designation could affect us.
A shakeup in immigration policy has fueled protests in downtown and also appears to be forcing LA City leaders to declare what they've avoided saying for years, that LA is a city of sanctuary for law-abiding undocumented immigrants.
This statement is important for the 800,000 participants in DACA, for their families, and for the entire immigrant community.
Councilmember Gil Cedillo and Council President Herb Wesson pushing for a City of Sanctuary resolution. It's in response to President Trump's decision to phase out DACA, or Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. For the past 5 years, DACA has protected undocumented immigrants who arrived in the U.S. as children from deportation. These kids, many of whom have since grown up, are collectively known as Dreamers. With the deportation of these Dreamers now a possibility, the LA City Council is playing the role of protector, attempting to pass a sanctuary city resolution, basically admitting that they will limit their cooperation with the federal government in terms of immigration enforcement. Now, the problem with the term sanctuary city, and the mayor will even agree to this, is that it varies from city to city. That's why LA City Council members are working on concrete rules to determine how exactly this will apply to Los Angeles. The city's legal experts recommend making LA an arrest-free zone for Dreamers. That includes providing them documents on the rights that they could present to federal agents should they show up at the door. Also, providing funding for legal help for undocumented immigrants who are detained. Cost of these services not determined yet. The city has also pledged to not use resources like LAPD to help the president enforce immigration policy. President Trump has threatened to strip federal funding from cities that don't help him.
He gets up and he makes these claims. There is nothing that would put the city of LA at risk by us saying we're a city of sanctuary. So we've said that. So now, Mr. President, what are you going to do?
City Council President Herb Wesson acknowledges he could be baiting the Trump administration into a legal battle, a fight that Wesson says the city and California would win, given states' rights under the Constitution. I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
A city resolution for sanctuary status could take weeks to complete. An ordinance with specific laws could take months. And city leaders aren't stopping there. They've also begun hammering out new proposals to increase immigrant protections and resources. Anna Marcos has more on the city's latest plans.
The new push by the feds to end the American dream for a class of immigrants known as Dreamers has drawn new resistance from the immigrant community and city leaders. The passion at this meeting at City Hall by the Committee on Immigrant Affairs, Civil Rights and Equity was palpable.
There is nothing nor no one who can stop what a mother will do to protect her child of all colors.
This is shameful. This is a continuation that cannot be tolerated of the divisiveness that's been created by the Trump administration that began with their very first statements attacking immigrants.
City leaders and supporters brainstormed ways to fight the attack on DACA, the immigrant policy which has allowed illegal immigrants who came here as minors, so-called Dreamers, to put off deportation. But soon those rights could be taken away. A good chunk of the 800,000 Dreamers live right here in LA.
If you're as angry as I am, please stand up and let your voice be heard. Most importantly, we have the power to do something about this unjust and inhumane action.
And I praise you because in World War II, no one was there for Japanese. No one.
I stand with the Dreamers as an immigrant, as a person of color who, luckily my mom as a nurse was able to attain a green card, and because my mom had a permanent residency, when I turned 18 I became a citizen. But I was this close to becoming undocumented. I could have been one of the Dreamers.
City leaders hosted city immigrant advocate Peter Shea as they tried to hammer out a pro-immigrant policy.
Their first response was, prevent my arrest.
Some of the recommendations made at this meeting include stopping arrests of immigrants in the first place and then providing bail if they are arrested, because those who are detained are most likely to be deported.
What I'm seeing here is the possibility of creating documents or letters for people from attorneys in good standing. If you then give this letter, this document, to the authority that is trying to hassle you, and that makes them go away, then we should do that.
Recommendations also include an anti-discrimination law. These will now go to city departments to be made into policy. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
Programs would be paid for with the city's recently created Justice Fund. Well, turning now to a day we will never forget as LA's first responders come together to honor the victims and those who made the ultimate sacrifice 16 years ago. Rasha Goel takes us to the ceremony.
LAFD Chief Rolf Terrazas and LAPD Chief Charlie Beck together rang a bell as a tribute to the heroes who died in the September 11th attacks. It's a 200-year-old tradition that today symbolizes the ultimate sacrifices of those that lost their lives in the tragic attacks.
And when a firefighter had died in the line of duty, paying the ultimate sacrifice, it was the mournful toll of the bell that solemnly announced the comrade's passing.
The Los Angeles Fire Department held its annual Remembrance ceremony at the Frank Hodgkin Memorial Training Center, honoring the nearly 3,000 people and 400 first responders that were killed.
9/11 is described as one of those where were you moments in our nation's history. We all remember where we were.
We're remembering all that occurred on that day, but remembering also our responsibility to preserve the freedoms that are so important in our nation, to honor and to say thank you each and every single day to our first responders.
This year, New York Fire Department Captain Oreo Palmer was honored. After a plane hit the South Tower, Palmer took the elevator up to the 41st floor and then ran up 37 flights of stairs to the impact zone on the 78th floor.
And knowing that his chances for survival were slim, the man still ran up to the 78th floor to try to save lives. Lives of people he did not know. For that brave action, Oreo Palmer is a hero.
So today, as we recognize the sacrifice of so many, we commit to sacrifices of our own. And that's why we come together. That's why we're here.
It's a time to not only reflect on the memories, but to also honor those who protect us in the present.
It's about thanking those who are with us today, who is ready on any moment's notice to risk their lives to help others.
I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
Ever see those white lines marked on the street and wonder why they're there? Well, they're there for good reason, and if you're a homeowner, these markings can help prevent a disaster. Rasha Goel has more on the importance of these utility-marked lines.
Yana, I'm in Woodland Hills, and what you see behind me is a home that was damaged in a fire explosion just a few months ago. Now, this all happened after a contracted plumber accidentally hit a gas line. But thanks to Jeff Catone, a SoCal Gas engineer technician, and Hector Rocha, a SoCal Gas customer service rep, the couple was able to get out of their house after they reported a possible gas leak. The home exploded in flames a short time later.
Without the gas company's initiative and getting those residents out, we would have had a much different outcome.
When you're about to dig, whether you're a homeowner or a contractor, we want you to call 811. It is a service called Dig Alert. It's a free service. When you call, it causes us, utilities like SoCal Gas and other utilities, to come out and mark and identify underground locations so that you can dig safely.
Officials say almost 3,000 incidents can be prevented if people would call and have utility lines marked.
You have to remember, things as shallow as a fence post or a fence or a mailbox could be just deep enough to where you could hit a natural gas line or an electrical utility.
One call is all it takes to save your home and life. In Woodland Hills, I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
811 is a national phone number designated by the FCC. Over in downtown LA, cross the street and you could get ticketed, even if you beat the clock. A vague traffic signal law has led to thousands of citations over the years. As Gil Reyes reports, local leaders want to clear the confusion by changing the law.
Not a problem. Let me see your identification, please. I'm trying to explain things to you. If you don't want to hear it, it's not a problem for me.
This jaywalking stop in downtown Los Angeles caused an uproar a couple years back. Many people calling this incident unfair. College student Eduardo Lopez was fined $200 for beginning to cross the street when the light's countdown clock had already started. A year later, another pedestrian, Samuel Chu, was ticketed by a downtown officer for the same reason.
He was actually on his motorcycle sitting there, and he was waiting for me to get to the other side. And I made it before the countdown had ended, and he just looked at me and pulled me aside and said that I'm going to cite you.
That's because even if you make the light, it's illegal to begin crossing the street after the blinking hand and countdown appear. That is the rule in California. But Assemblyman Miguel Santiago wants to change that rule. He's co-authored a measure that would make crossing okay as long as you've made it fully across the street by the time the countdown ends. Councilmember Jose Huizar supports it.
And you be the judge. The person crossing the street needs to be the judge. Can I make it in 10 seconds? Can I make it in 3 seconds? That's going to be the law, and it's going to be very clear. So they won't get cited simply for crossing the street. This is going to be very important for dense areas like downtown LA, but also citywide,
where more and more people are walking and bicycling to work. In downtown Los Angeles, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
The bill was introduced after Councilmember Huizar authored a city resolution calling on the state to update its traffic laws. The bill has now passed both houses of the state legislature and is headed to the governor's desk for his signature. Switching gears now, as more than 25 LA female students become the new creators of smartphone robots. The idea comes from Cal State LA's College of Engineering, Computer Science and Technology in an effort to encourage more women to go into science careers. Anna Marcos drops in for a look. Anna.
Yana, I know nothing about computers, robots, or engineering, but I do know that I can make the cell phone with a picture of a kitty on it work with this remote control. Now, these girls here are learning the nitty-gritty of how to make this all happen, put it together, with Cal State LA's Launchpad summer program.
There it is. Oh, I lost it.
Lesson number 1. To design and create a dancing kitty phone, you will need to solder, cut, and mess around with lots of wires.
If you want to build a robot that actually moves, you're going to need the wiring to actually power it.
You can see the looks of focus, concentration, discovery, and victory on these girls' faces as they solve problems, all the while learning principles of science, engineering, physics, math, and, well, how to make things work.
No,
You can
it's
probably.
no. It's bad because then we have to resolder.
Yeah.
We have to resolder this wire because we have to strip this wire deeper.
But okay.
Okay, go straight. Get a wedge shot.
So this right
Okay,
here.
don't go all like.
Don't go hard.
Yeah.
Okay,
there.
Okay.
What they're designing now, it might be something that they're going to create a heart and that you could, through your phone, pump your heart. I mean, who knows?
Cal State LA runs the Launchpad summer program for girls entering their senior year of high school.
We have the majority of female students that come to Cal State LA, but we only have 10% females in the College of Engineering, Computer Science, and Technology. And because of that, we obviously want to increase that.
The students have been learning all things techie and scientific for the last 2 weeks. And now they're ready for the final event, showing off their handiwork in this kiddie phone dance competition. Already, the STEM experience has changed hearts and minds.
Knowing that technology is advancing, I was like, you know what, engineering is also something that I want to be part of.
The Launchpad program just might get these new innovators to make a career switch as they prepare to enter college next year. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
The students came from 10 different local high schools. Well, if you ride the bus or train, you probably spend most of your time on your phone listening to music or reading. It's easy to get distracted and lose sight of things happening around you, which could lead to an accident. But as Rasha Goel explains, Metro officials are hoping a new safety campaign will help commuters get back on the right track.
I'm at Union Station, where Metro officials are passing out information regarding rail safety. Now, September is Rail Safety Month, and we often get so comfortable with riding buses and trains that we forget some of the simplest rules. They're here to remind us. 18 pop-up safety events will be held at rail stations and community events through the month of September to provide the public with information on rail safety.
Just making sure that when people are riding our trains or on our platforms that they're aware, they know what's happening, and that safety is number one for their concern and our concern.
Officials say with new rail lines opening up, they want to remind passengers about practicing safe behavior around Metro trains. And some top priority issues are
people waiting behind the yellow strip on the platform, so staying behind that yellow line. A lot of, I think, with where we're at today with technology, everyone's texting, looking down on their phones, not paying attention, so making sure that they're alert, as well as even earphones. A lot of people don't realize our trains are very quiet, and so with that, we always ask people, remove your headphones, kind of be alert with what's happening around you.
And while passengers may be running in and out of stations, they did have a few minutes to stop and get the details.
I love it. I think it's a great idea, okay, because people need it. They need to be informed.
As an everyday rider, I do see some people who try to catch up to the train by either crossing, the rail guards that come down, or trying to get a little bit closer to the edge. So I think it's very important for them to promote this kind of issue.
As promoted through the campaign, don't forget, safety begins with you. From Union Station, I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
Metro officials say with new lines opening up, it is especially crucial to remind passengers about train safety. What if dreams of playing professional sports don't pan out? One former NFL player shares his story, and as Gil Reyes reports, he also issues a challenge to 4 high school teams with prize money at stake.
Go! 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 Say go! 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 Give me 1 clap. Give me 2 claps.
The Eagle Rock High School football team gets pumped for a visit from a local hero. Former Green Bay Packer Jonathan Franklin was a star running back at LA's Dorsey High School, UCLA, and he also played 1 pro season with the Packers until a spinal contusion ended his NFL career 3 years ago.
I was doing so well. I had my dream. I had everything. And it was taken away from me. But thank God I was blessed to focus on my education. And when my career ended, I had something else to bounce back on. That was my degree.
Franklin now works community outreach for the Los Angeles Rams. His job today? To announce an academic competition to football teams from Eagle Rock, Crenshaw, Fairfax, and San Fernando high schools.
Now, at the end of the season, each team's GPA will be calculated, and the team with the highest grade point average will then receive a $2,500 grant courtesy of the Rams to receive new football equipment, plus tickets to a free Rams home game.
Really educate these kids and help them understand the power of academics and how far it could take them in life beyond just a sport.
To be able to focus on something else other than winning football games, whether it's academics or building their character, I think it's really important to address. I think it's great of the Rams to think of it and approach it in this way.
Eagle Rock coach Andy Moran says the winningest teams he's ever coached were also the highest achievers in the classroom, so the two are connected. Principal Mylene Kipe agrees.
It's education and athletics together. We can't have athletes who are not eligible. We can't have athletes who only focus on the field and not on education.
Wide receiver Darius Doherty is a team captain in the challenge. He says he'll motivate Eagle Rock to hit hard and hit the books this season.
I got people's phone numbers. I'm gonna text you like, man, you do your homework tonight. You know, we got grade day tomorrow, man. If football doesn't work, then I would like to go to Channel Islands. I know that for sure because they have a good business program, and that's something I'd like to pursue in my life.
Sounds like a winning game plan. From Eagle Rock High School, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
Since returning to Southern California last year, the LA Rams have teamed with LA Unified. The team has donated some 40,000 items like footballs, shirts, cleats, and jerseys to high school football programs. A busy public space in Council District 1 becomes much more pedestrian-friendly. A special recognition for the LA City Attorney's Office and celebrating local artistic and musical talent. All these stories in Citybeat. LA City Council member Gil Cedillo cut the ribbon on the Hoover Triangle Transportation Hub project. The project evolved from residents and businesses advocating for irrigation repairs to make the triangle greener and provide lighting and benches for transit riders. The Hoover 23rd Street Union Triangle Plaza project was a collaborative partnership between city family agencies and USC's student design team. Funding for the project was provided by Cedillo's office, and the Bureau of Street Services provided the construction services. Project elements include security lighting at the bus stops and within the plaza, a multi-use area, benches, trash receptacles, drought-tolerant landscaping, new sidewalks and ramps, outdoor tables, seating, and bike racks.
I want us to think big, to have our imagination be the limits of what we build here. And so this is the completion of the first phase.
Los Angeles City Attorney Mike Feuer's office was recognized as 2017's Outstanding Public Sector Law Office from the American Bar Association. It's the first city attorney's office in the nation to receive the prestigious Hodson Award, which recognizes sustained outstanding performance or a specific and extraordinary service by a government or public sector law office. The city attorney's office works on a variety of issues, from consumer protection and criminal justice reform to important public rights cases that have national or state impact. The community came out recently to have some fun during Made in LA, a two-day music and arts festival celebrating the diversity of LA's cultural landscape. A variety of bands and musicians took to the stage while artists showcased their work. A portion of the proceeds went to local LA-based charities.
Two-day event here at our brewery celebrating LA-based musicians and visual artists and LA-based culture.
Looking to play ball or a place to swim in the valley? Well, look no more, as a new state-of-the-art recreation center just opened its doors in Woodland Hills, and residents couldn't be happier. Rasha Goel shows us the new facility.
Nothing like a new pool, basketball court, and a park with free Wi-Fi. Residents of the West Valley region are excited to celebrate the opening of the Woodland Hills Recreation Center.
What a great place for young people to develop their athletic skills, stay healthy, get away from the internet and computers.
Exactly. Get outside for a little bit.
Former Los Angeles Clipper player Lamont Murray talked about the privilege of having a facility like this.
As basketball players, we didn't have AC like you have here. Beautiful facility with AC, that didn't exist, okay? We're out here on the blacktop, just working on our craft.
The facility has undergone extensive renovations that include a new gymnasium, indoor stage, and playground equipment. The center will offer activities and classes for kids, adults, and seniors.
Everything is environmentally friendly, energy conservation, water conservation, but no lack of recreational opportunities.
You have to have that to have a successful community, to have a safe community.
The center was under construction for 2.5 years.
We need to strive for healthy families, for active families, to keep kids in positive programs, and adults as well.
This slam dunk is sure to enhance the lives of the residents in this neighborhood. I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
To find out about classes and programs offered at the Woodland Hills Recreation Center, check out laparks.org and then search the center name under Facilities. Well, gather with friends and neighbors for a West Side block party or head over to Abbot Kinney for an eclectic street festival. And there's plenty to see and do in the Valley, too, during the Reseda Rising Art Walk. All this in this week's Things to Do. The Emerson Avenue Community Garden is hosting the second annual Westchester Arts and Music Block Party, a free day-long community event filled with live music and dance, art, vendors, kids' activities, garden tours, food, and socializing, all hosted in and around the garden in Westchester. The festival brings together art, music, dance, gardening, and community in the middle of LA, the creative capital of the world. The event takes place Saturday, September 23rd from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. at Emerson Avenue between West 80th Street and West 80th Place in Westchester. Now in its 33rd year, the Abbot Kinney Festival takes place along a mile-long stretch of the world-famous Abbot Kinney Boulevard in Venice, arguably the coolest block in America. The boulevard's eclectic boutiques, artisan eateries, and influential art galleries infuse the festival with local flavor that makes this event unique and not to be missed. So join the fun on Sunday, September 24th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. For more, visit abbotkinney.org. Still buzzing from last year's resounding success, the highly anticipated Reseda Rising Art Walk and Night Market returns, bringing another night of San Fernando Valley's best local artists, vendors, and brewers. With an attendance of over 8,000 people last year, this year's event is expected to make an even bigger mark on the Valley's ever-growing footprint among the LA's art and brewing community. The event is sponsored by the Office of Councilmember Bob Blumenfield as part of the larger Reseda Rising initiative geared to providing new investment and revitalization to the area. The festival takes place Saturday, September 23rd from 5 to 10 p.m. on Sherman Way in Reseda. And that's a look at some things to do. Well, that's going to do it for this edition. I'm Yana Kane. From all of us here at LA This Week, thanks for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacityview.org. You can also follow and like us on Facebook. We'll see you back here next week for more of LA This Week.